Let's move on. South Australian Premier is being slammed for removing the words Anzac Day from the official list of annual public holidays. Wes, I spoke about this at the top of the show. I am filthy about it for so many reasons. I'd love your take as a retired commando, a vet, someone who's passionate about our Defence Force.
Firstly, I don't know where to start, Erin. These agendas, and they are agendas, are absolutely abhorrent to our culture, to our Australians. And we talk about the veteran community, the defensive community, and the current ADF. But I think we should be talking also about all patriotic Australians and not to disclude them. Anzac Day obviously means a lot to a lot of people, and for many different reasons. We seem to be determined to erode, and this country's only got a young history, but we seem to be determined to gradually erode away the most important and sacred elements of that history. So for me, that's just extremely concerning. It's not required, it's not needed, it's un-Australian, and it's very upsetting.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And today I kept thinking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who lost their 25-year-old son in the Middle East, thinking, really, the people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, all those who loved them, all of us who benefited Charlotte. I think, people say, oh, no, you're just making a mountain out of a molehill. I say no, this is a big deal.
Yeah, I agree, Erin. I think symbolism is really important, and this is one day of the year where Australia pays our respects. And I also think that it's becoming trendy at the moment to be anti your country or to be anti-patriotic. And I think that is so unhelpful and really has kind of an eroding effect on Australians and our identity and the love that we have for our country. So those people that are saying, oh, you're making a big deal out of it, that is because they are trying to get these changes through little by little, and every time they take a win, they are taking something away from Australian culture and Australian history, which is so important that we're all proud of.
It's all part of this agenda, and it drives me crazy. Just those shots you can see live on your screen, the Israel-Gaza border there, the ceasefire has ended. You can see explosions there, so fighting well and truly back underway. Let's move to our next topic. Controversial drag queen story hour sessions for children will be promoted in New South Wales councils after a local government conference passed a motion in support of them. Wes, you're very worked up about this?
This is extremely upsetting. This was fought hard against several months ago and cancelled across a lot of LGAs across Australia, the local government areas and local government councils. How this has been brought back in and why, again, rolls back into some of the points that were made before, Charlotte and yourself, with what are these agendas, where are they coming from, and why are we determined to erode what's right? So we all agree, and it's science, the children's ability to assimilate and their cognitive ability to determine differences between art and what these people are representing is, it's not developed yet. And again, that's science. That's not anyone's opinion. So why aren't we referring to the science and what's right and protecting the most important people in this country, which is the foundation of the future Australia, which is our children? They have a website. I'll read you one particular thing quickly, if you don't mind. It's been changed from Drag Queen Story Hour to Drag Story Hour, and it describes what are in these hours. This is off their official site, I emphasise. Generally reads 3 to 4 books, and we sing some children's songs. It goes on to say a little bit more, and then closes this short paragraph, and sometimes other activities or dress-up time. Now, to me, a father, and I know you're a mother, is extremely concerning. And I spent time in the car on the way down here, and I rang many different parents of single mums, single dads, parents with 2, 3 kids at different ages, and not one person did I speak to is not outraged by this. So I think it comes back to why. Why would we do this to our children? It's not education at all.
Charlotte, I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think, as a Liberal, I am very big on freedom of speech, not only when it's convenient for me. So on this particular one, I am not passionate about promoting, drag queen story time. But if a community organisation wanted to do it, fill your boots, knock yourself out. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. My issue is when it's local councils and it's, local levels of government. My LGA has pulled back our garbage delivery for from general waste to once every fortnight instead of once every week. Now, that's the sort of service that I want from my local council. It's not this sort of thing, and I don't think they should be spending their money on those sorts of things. It's not the government's job. And as a Liberal that believes in small governments, I don't know why they're wading into this.
It's so cliche, but roads, rates and rubbish, stick to that. I'm kind of neither here nor there on this. I think if people want to do this, go for gold. It's not for me, certainly not for me with my 5-year-old. But I just think for councils to be focusing on this, pushing this agenda, it's not their place, Wes. I agree with you on that aspect. Let's move. No, go on.
That's right. And that's the key difference is, again, and as we discussed the other day on the telephone briefly, I used to work out near Broken Hill. I used to go and I've watched the show in town there of the infamous Queens of the Desert. I'm an adult. I'm a mature male. I find it funny. That's fine. And again, if people, back to both of the points before, if people, as in families, want their children to go and watch these shows, that's fine. You're the parent. You're in control of those children. And I hope you make the right decisions. But why is a council, sponsoring a program for our children, which I don't believe should be, part of their education, or development at that young age? That's the issue. It's like we've got better things to deal with.
Yep. No, I love your passion, as do I love yours, Charlotte, and I hope both of you will join me again. I've really enjoyed that. Thank you both so much for your time.